Good morning, everyone. This is your mathematics class of grade 8, chapter 8, comparing quantities, and this is your lecture number 5. Let us see today's key points. First of all, we will revise the previous concepts. Then we will study about the concept of principal, rate, time, simple interest, and compound interest. I hope, children, that you have already learnt about simple interest in your previous class. Now, in this new concept of compound interest, we shall review difference between simple interest and compound interest, applications of compound interest, and we will revise simple interest once again. Let us revise what we have learned in the previous lectures. We have learned about discount, and discount means reduction in prices. Discount basically is the reduction in the prices. Then we have learnt about marked price, the price printed on an article or written on a slip attached to it is called marked price. The price printed on an article and or written on a slip attached to it. This we have discussed in detail in the previous lecture, that whenever we purchase any article, any item, any commodity, then a tag is attached to that particular item that represents, or that on that tag the price of the particular article is being mentioned, and other details may also be mentioned over there, but the price printed on an article or the written on a slip attached to it is called its marked price. The price which is marked on a particular item or attached to a particular item using a slip, that is your marked price. And the marked price of an article is also called its listed, catalogued, or advertised price. So the marked price of an article is also called its listed, catalogued, or advertised price. So we have seen what do you mean by a discount. Discount means reduction in the prices. Marked price, the price printed on an article or written on a slip attached to it is called its marked price, or MP. Or marked price can also be called listed price, catalogued price, or advertised price. Then we have, how can we define discount? That was an idea that discount is basically a reduction in the price. And how can we define it then? The amount deducted from the marked price, the amount which is being deducted from the marked price of an article is called discount. Obviously, whenever you purchase an article, the discount is always given on the price which is mentioned on the tag or the marked price. So this is what how we can define discount. That is, amount deducted from the marked price of an article is called discount, or it can be called as trade discount. Then we have learnt about selling price. Selling price, the price of an article after deducting discount from the marked price is called selling price or net price. The other name of selling price is net price. It is the price paid by a customer. So the price of an article after deducting discount from the marked price is called selling price or net price. After the deduction of the discount from the marked price, the price which we need to pay, that is the price of an article, and that is your selling price. It is the price paid by the customer. So selling price can be written as marked price minus discount. Simple as this. From this above definition, we have seen that selling price is the price of an article after deducting discount. So here what we have done, we have deducted discount from the marked price. So this is what we are getting selling price or net price. It is the price paid by the customer. Then if I need to write discount in terms out of this formula, then how will I write discount? Discount can be given as market price minus selling price. Discount will be shifted on right hand side, or sorry, left hand side, and then discount will be market price minus selling price. Now usually discount is given as percentage on the marked price, and this we all know that whenever we get a discount, it is always mentioned in, usually mentioned in percentage. And discount percentage, discount is always calculated on the marked price, because we need to deduct the discount from the marked price, listed price, cataloged price. These are all the other names of marked price. So discount percent is always calculated on the marked price, and the formula of discount percent will be discount in the numerator over denominator, that is marked price, into 100%, because we want to find out discount percentage. So it will be 100 into 100%. Then SP formula, we have learned SP formula also in terms of discount percentage. When discount is given to you in percentage, we have derived this formula also. So SP is equal to 1 minus D over 100 into MP, where D is the discount percentage. We have derived this formula from marked price minus discount, and then if discount is given to you in percentage, then SP will be 1 minus D over 100 into MP. And if two successive discounts are D1% and D2%, these are the two successive discounts we have discussed also in detail in the previous lecture. So here, if the two successive discounts are D1% and D2%, then SP will be given like this: 1 minus D1 over 100 into 1 minus D2 over 100 into MP. Here, if three successive discounts are given, then you can include 1 minus D3 over 100. If four successive discounts are given, then you can include 1 minus D4 over 100. So the basic formula for this successive discounts will be, in terms of SP, MP and discount percent, it will be SP is equal to 1 minus D1 over 100 into 1 minus D2 over 100 into MP. So coming to the main concept, or first of all, we will have a look on simple interest. This you have learned in your previous class. Now we shall review it again in this class 8, and we will learn about compound interest in further slides. That is a main important part of this chapter. Terms related to SI, that is simple interest, and CI, that is compound interest. So basically the terms related to both of them are same. So I am discussing here SI, that is simple interest, and CI, that is compound interest, and the terms related to them. So I am discussing here the terms related to SI, that is simple interest, and CI, that is compound interest. So let us see the terms related to them. Principal. Principal is the very first term which is related to both. And how will you define principal? What actually is the principal? Money which has been borrowed, lent or invested. The money which is being borrowed by you or by someone, or lent or invested, that amount or that money is called sum or principal. You can say it sum also, and you can say it principal also. So it will be money which has been borrowed, lent or invested is called sum or principal. The amount or the money which you borrow from someone, that is your sum or the principal. And this money can be used by the borrower for a particular time period before returning to the lender. Obviously, when you are borrowing some money from someone, then that should be given, that is to be given for a particular time period before returning to the lender. Okay, so principal, what do you mean by principal? The money which has been borrowed, lent or invested is called sum or principal, and this money can be used by the borrower for only a particular duration or for particular time period before returning to the lender. For example, loan taken from a bank is the principal, and obviously you all know, you can consult your parents also. Whenever a loan is being taken, that is always taken for a particular time period and for a particular rate of interest. These are the terms which I will be mentioning, or which I will be discussing in the further slides. So the loan taken from a bank is the principal. Right now I am concerning about principal here. So the money which has been borrowed, lent or invested is called sum or the principal. This money can be used by the borrower for a particular time period before returning to the lender. Then interest. What is this interest? We are talking about simple interest, we are talking about compound interest, but what does this interest mean? This is the additional money paid by the borrower to the money lender from which it has been borrowed in lieu of the money used. Obviously, if you are borrowing something from someone, that you need to pay something extra to that person, because you are using that money, because you are using his or her money. Okay, so the additional money paid by the borrower to the money lender in lieu of the money used is called interest. This is the additional money which is being paid apart from the principal amount in lieu of the money used is called interest. Amount. What does this amount mean? Amount, the total money paid by the borrower to the money lender is called amount. We have talked about three terms here. Principal, the amount or the money which is being borrowed, lent or invested is called principal. Interest is the additional money paid by the borrower to the money lender or to the person from which it is being borrowed in lieu of the money used is called interest. Then comes the amount. The total money paid by the borrower to the money lender is called amount. So amount is given by the formula of principal plus interest. Principal is the amount which is being borrowed, plus interest is the additional money paid by the borrower to the money lender in lieu of the money used. So total amount is to be given to the particular person or particular institution from which it is being borrowed. So coming to rate. Rate. What is this rate? Rate, it is the interest paid on a specified amount for a specified period. It is basically the interest paid on a specified amount which is being borrowed and for a specified duration, that is for the time period, for which time period it is being borrowed. That is the rate. For example, rate of 1.25% per month means that the interest paid on rupees 100 for 1 month is rupees 1.25. Here we have taken the example of rupees 100. If it has been borrowed for 1 month, then rate of 1.25% means that the interest paid on rupees 100 for 1 month is rupees 1.25. Now, time. Obviously, we have discussed it in the previous slide also. It is the time for which the money is being borrowed. Simple as this. So rate, it is the interest paid on a specified amount for specified period. Time, it is the time for which, for how much duration or for how much time period you are using that money or you are keeping that money that is to be borrowed is the time period. It is the time for which the money is borrowed. Simple interest. Now coming to the simple interest, we have seen all the terms like principal, interest, amount, rate and then time. Now what is this simple interest? It is the interest calculated on original money, that is the principal, at a given rate of interest for any given time. So it is simple interest. As the simple interest we need to tell. So it is the interest calculated on original money, that is the principal, at given rate of interest for any given time. So simple interest is given by this formula, P into R into T divided by 100, where P is the principal amount, R is the interest rate or rate of interest, or T is the number of years. Okay, so simple interest is P into R into T over 100. So where P is the principal amount, R is the interest rate and T is the number of years. Now for example, let us see how to calculate simple interest. Calculate the simple interest and amount for 3 years when the principal amount is 200 and the interest is 10% for 1 year. We need to find the simple interest and amount for 3 years when the principal amount is rupees 200 and the rate of interest is 10% for 1 year. Given principal is rupees 200, rate is 10%, time is 3 years. We know the formula, that is simple interest is equal to rupees P into R into T over 100. Putting the values 200 into 10 into 3 over 100, that will give you rupees 60. So the simple interest is rupees 60. And now we need to find the amount also. Amount formula we know that we need to add principal and interest because that is the total amount paid to the money lender. So it will be principal plus interest, that will be rupees 200 plus rupees 60, that will be rupees 260. Coming to the main concept, that is compound interest. This is an interesting concept and it should be very much clear to you what is the difference between simple interest and compound interest. We will know further in the further slides. Let us see now what is the difference between simple interest and compound interest. In simple interest, the principal remains constant for the whole loan period. Principal remains constant for the whole loan period. For example, if you have borrowed certain amount like rupees 5,000, then even if the time period is for 10 years, then for those 10 years the principal will remain same. That is, your interest will be calculated on 5,000 rupees only. But actually, if we talk about practical scenario, the method according to which banks, post offices, insurance companies and other financial institutions, they calculate the interest in a manner which is different from this manner. That is, what do they do? The institutions like banks, post offices, insurance companies, they calculate the interest for 1 year and then the yearly interest is added to the principal and the amount so obtained is treated as the principal for calculating the interest for the second year and so on. So I am repeating it. I will be explaining it with the help of an example also. The point here to note is that in simple interest, the principal remains constant for the whole loan period. First of all, this thing I hope this is clear to you. As I have given you the example of rupees 5,000, if you are borrowing that amount for 10 years, then your principal will remain or your interest will be calculated on 5,000 rupees only. But in practical scenario, the method or the institutions like banks, post offices, insurance companies, they do not calculate the interest like this. What do? They calculate the interest for 1 year, then the yearly interest is added to the principal and the amount so obtained is treated as the principal for the next year and so on. This will be more clear to you with the help of an example. Let us see. This process is repeated until the whole loan period is found. So the difference between the final amount and the original principal is called the compound interest. How will you define compound interest? The difference between the final amount and the original principal is called the compound interest and it is written as C.I that I have shown you in the previous slide. Okay, compound interest is given by amount minus principal. This is the final amount minus original principal. It should be original principal, that will give you compound interest, that is CI. Let us understand this, or let us note one more important point, that in case of simple interest, the principal remains constant. This is the difference between simple interest and compound interest. But in case of compound interest, the principal goes on changing every year. It means the principal or the amount of the previous year will be the principal for the next year in case of compound interest. Like in case of simple interest, principal remains constant for the whole loan period. But in case of compound interest, the amount of the previous year will be the principal for the next year. For example, I need to calculate the compound interest on rupees 12,500 for 2 years at 6% per annum. Here the principal amount is rupees 12,000, time 2 years, rate of interest 6%. Then let us see how we can calculate the compound interest and what is the difference between compound interest and simple interest. Here you will find in this question, it will be more clear to you with the help of this question. So rate of interest, as I told you, it is 6% per annum. Principal for the first year, that is given to us, that is 12,500. Interest for the first year. What I have done here, I have used the formula of simple interest, that is P into R into T. Time here we are supposed to find out the interest for 1 year. So it will be P into R into T over 100. This is the interest for the first year. That will give you 750 rupees. Then amount at the end of first year. What I have done, we know the formula for amount. Amount is given by principal plus interest. So this is the principal plus this is the interest we have calculated for 1 year. So the total amount will be 13,250. This is the amount at the end of, this is the amount at the end of first year. Now, we are supposed to calculate the compound interest for the 2 years. So, as I told you, that amount of the previous year will be the principal for the next year in case of compound interest. So, what I have done here now, what will be the principal for the second year? This is the amount of the first year. This is the amount of the first year. You can see this is the amount of the first year and this will be the principal for the second year. As I told you that in simple interest, principal will remain same. Interest will be calculated on the same principal for as many as number of years are given to you. But in case of compound interest, the amount of the previous year will be the principal for the next year. You can see it very clearly. Here I have not taken the principal as 12,500. That was the original principal. What I have taken here is the amount of the first year because I needed to find the principal for second year. So I have taken the amount of the first year as the principal for second year. Interest for the second year will be, rate will remain same, time will be 1 year because I have already calculated I have already calculated interest for 1 year. So this is your time will be again 1 year and here principal will be 13,250. Then you will be getting 795 rupees. This will be the interest for the second year. Now amount at the end of second year, it will be 13,250 plus rupees 795. It will give you 14,045. Now I need to find compound interest. Compound interest for 2 years will be final amount minus original principal. Here you will be taking original principal. So final amount is 14,045 minus 12,500 is the original principal. Then it will be 1,545. This will be your compound interest for 2 years. So children, I am repeating it. First of all, you need to calculate the interest for 1 year using the simple interest formula. And then you need to find out the amount. Amount formula we know, that is given by principal plus interest. Then this amount for the 1 year will be the principal for the next year. So principal will be 13,250. Then again we need to find the interest for the second year, that will be 795. Then amount at the end of second year, it will be total of these two, that will be 14,045. Now compound interest, as I told you that it is given by the formula amount minus original principal. So amount is 14,045 minus original principal is 12,500. So it will be 1,545. This is your compound interest for 2 years. So coming to the homework part, children, as this concept of compound interest is very important, first of all you need to understand this concept thoroughly with the help of the example I have given in this lecture, and then I will be telling you in the next lecture the short way, that is one formula of compound interest, but this concept should be very much clear to you before moving to the formula part. So your homework is, you are supposed to complete exercise 8.1. We have already discussed all the questions, but if any of the question is left, then you can complete those questions along with exercise 8.2. I have discussed here in this lecture, I will be discussing one question in this lecture that was left for exercise 8.2 from exercise 8.2. So you are supposed to complete exercise 8.1 and exercise 8.2 in your homework notebook from your NCERT book. And apart from that, I am not giving any homework from exercise 8.3 because this part, compound interest, is to be understood very thoroughly so that you can have a better understanding of this concept. So revise the concept of compound interest. This is your homework part only. Coming to homework solutions of exercise 8.2, this question was left, question number 9. Arun bought a pair of skates at a sale where the discount was given 20%. Here the discount is given to you as 20%, and the amount he pays is rupees 1600, and you need to find the marked price. Discount percentage is given to us as 20%. Amount paid by Arun for a pair of skates is 1600 or 1600. We need to find the marked price of pair of skates, and we know that amount paid by Arun means, that is, SP is given to you and discount is given to you in percentage, and we know formula. Let us see how we will proceed. Let us suppose marked price of the pair of skates is X. We do not know, so we have taken it X, or you can take any unknown variable. Then discount percentage is 20%. We know selling price is given by marked price minus discount. Putting the values here, selling price is 1600, marked price we have taken X, discount is given to you in percentage, so it will be 20% of X, that is 20 over 100 into X, because percentage sign is there, and we know percentage is a special fraction in which denominator is always 100. So after taking the LCM this side, it will be 100x minus 20x over 100. It will be, this 100 will be shifted here. This will be multiplied by this. So it will be 1600 into 100 is equal to 80x. So here x will be 1600 into 100 over 80. Then x will be, after calculating, you will be getting x is equal to 2000 rupees. So therefore the marked price of pair of skates will be rupees 2000. And children, you can use one formula. I told you, if discount is given to you in percentage and MP is unknown here in this case, then SP is also given to us. Then I told you one formula. Then you can use this formula. SP is given to us, that is 1600. 1 minus D. D here is the discount percentage, which is given to us as 20 over 100 into MP. You can take X or let it be MP only. Then you can solve this way also. You will be surely getting the same result. So I hope you will be able to do these questions. Now in today's lecture, what we have learnt? We have learnt about, first of all, we have revised the previous concepts. We have learnt about simple interest, compound interest, and we have learnt what is the difference between simple interest and compound interest, and we have seen it with the help of two examples. One, I told you the example of simple interest, and next example I have given you in case of to calculate the compound interest. I hope using these two questions it will be clear to you what is the difference between simple interest and compound interest. So children, please complete your exercise 8.1 and 8.2, all the questions except VAT questions and GST questions. Then we will be moving to exercise 8.3. Thank you so much.